Well, people, one of the things you will experience when you're full-time RV is that things break, and you can see we have like a wet area here in the gravel, and that's because we had water coming out from our freshwater tank, and the freshwater tank is in here, and you can kind of see it has these overflow pipes. And what we were facing was that when we hooked up to city water, our four-way valve for the water was leaking. It was kind of getting hard to turn, and some of the O-rings must have slipped out from the core inside the four-way valve, and now it leaks water into the freshwater tank while we are hooked up to city water, and it comes out these pipes here and it runs down here, and that's why this whole area started flooding. So that's one of the pleasures of full-time RVing, that is, you have to repair and fix stuff like that. So here on the other side of the camper we have the wet bay, and here in the wet bay you have this Anderson control panel, and we have our four-way valve here, and you can see some marks on it. That's because it was getting so tough to turn this handle that I had to use a plier to turn it, and that's because the core going inside this valve here, it has some holes drilled through it in different directions, so when you turn it to the different four positions, it allows water to pass through in different directions. Around these holes inside there are some O-rings sitting, and they sit like in a groove around the holes, and these O-rings, they can, when they wear these, they can slip out, and then they can get stuck in between the core cylinder and the wall inside the valve, and then it makes it really hard to turn it, and at the same time it will start leaking water out where it shouldn't go, and that's why when we hook up to city water, water will start flowing over to the freshwater tank unintentionally. So what I will try is to see if I can get this part here off, and if it's possible to pull the core out, and then I'll see if I can go and buy some new O-rings to put in it, and then put the whole assembly back in. Hopefully that can fix the problem. Alternatively, I will have to buy a new assembly here, but what I have noticed is that it seems like this one is not made anymore. They have a newer model, but when I looked at the pipes sitting here on the rear side, I don't know if you can see all these pipes here, but these pipes are not sitting in the same location on the new panel, and that means a lot of all this here will have to be rerouted to new positions. So that would be quite a lot of work to do, so I would like to avoid that. So first attempt will be to see if I can get the core out here and get new O-rings in. When we started go full-time RVing, we sold our house and everything in it, but luckily enough I kept some bags here with all my hand tools, which I have had to use quite a lot. So that's one thing you need. If you are a full-time RVer, you definitely need tools, because things do break and you have to do repairs. So one of the things I hear is that people like to buy brand new RVs, because then they have the warranty, and if something breaks they can just turn it in. But try to think about it. If you have a brand new RV and it's still under warranty, that means every time something breaks, now you have to go to an authorized dealer and have their shop look at it, and they will most likely have to order parts, and meanwhile you have to let them have your RV, and you can't really live in it. And if you're a full-time RVer, that's a big problem, because where would you live while your RV is sitting at the shop? So starting to work on it on your own, yeah, you break the warranty, and that's a bit of a dilemma. So when we went full-time RVing, we bought a 2014 model of this Outlaw here. That means there's no warranty anymore, but that also means if something breaks, we will have to handle it ourselves. So that's just part of RV life. but sometimes I just have to say that's better and that's easier than having to go to an authorized, have them look at it. Yeah, this is something I've never taken apart before, but I see there's a little lock nut sitting down here, so I need to kind of get that one out. I would guess to get the whole assembly out. I think that's what kind of holds it into place. Sometimes it can be a bit of a detective work to really find out how this is assembled, but you know, over time you kind of learn how to take things apart, because that is necessary. Yeah, here it comes. It is kind of a little lock nut sitting there, and you see here it is. Maybe it needs to be pressed in. Yep, here it comes. It's kind of a spring loaded, it seems. Yep. So you press it in and turn it, and then there is a spring sitting here. It's a bit rusty. So I need a little screwdriver to get in. There's like a plate in there I need to get out. I think I'll just take some of my best friend here, VD40, spray some of that in. Sometimes things comes apart a little easier if it has VD40. I have these small screwdrivers, and let's see if one of these tiny ones here can go in and fish that plate out. Sits right there. It's kind of a bit corroded, so it's kind of stuck in there. I'm thinking maybe if I just grab this here in the middle and kind of work it out. Yes, I think it should be loose by now. I definitely worked the plate loose. Maybe I can get on. After some more wiggling here, I think I'm getting it. Yep, here it comes. So here we have the little plate here, and you can kind of see it has these grooves here that poke out here on the rear side, and it has these small grooves there. And that's why you know you have the right position for the different, it should kind of click into place. This valve didn't do that anymore, and it's simply because something is stuck in there. I bet it's an O-ring that came out of the core, and it's kind of difficult to get out because that whole core there is getting squeezed with these O-rings. Here it comes. See, here the unit comes, and these are the O-rings. So we have the entire assembly here, and these here, yeah, some of these here you can see they're totally worn out, they're broken, and there's one missing completely. So I wonder where that one is sitting. No wonder we had problems operating this. Just wait till the water stops running, and hopefully I can fish that one out in there. But I don't. Maybe it's gone lost completely. Well, but I think I will try to go to Ace hardware store in town and see if they can get me some new O-rings for this. They're kind of special. You can see they are kind of thick on one side and thin here, so it's not normal O-rings. I don't know if they have them, but if nothing else, I'll just try with regular O-rings to put in here and see if that will work. It might. But I think that's what needs to be done. This whole unit here should be covered in some plumbing grease, this clear silicone-like stuff, so you have smooth operation. All that has washed out from this being a 2014 model. So over time all this has been flushed out, so there was basically no lubrication, and these O-rings have become dry and they have cracked and disintegrated. So that's just normal wear and tear, and that's stuff that will happen. So after a trip up to Ace hardware store, I tried to get some O-rings, and you can see these here, they're kind of special. They're thin on one side and thick on the other. You can't find those, but you can find some small O-rings here, like this. It's a number 74, and yeah, they are very cheap. They're $1 a piece, and if you see here, they fit in pretty nicely. So, and a valve like this here also needs to be covered in what they call plumber's grease. But plumber's grease, that's basically Vaseline. So I just went to the grocery store and bought a small bottle, less than $2, $1.98 I think, with Vaseline. And this whole thing here would be covered in Vaseline, to both to lubricate it so it turns easier, but also to make it watertight. So any small leaks that are still there, they will be covered by this Vaseline. So let's try to get these O-rings in and then get the unit in place. And by the way, I tried to go here to the internet on my phone to see if I could buy that whole unit. And they used to produce, you can see it's exact the same unit here. They used to produce it as a repair kit, a valve repair kit for 4-function RV valves. They were $74.99. But as you can see, they are no longer manufacturing these, so now you have to purchase the entire valve assembly, and when I looked that up, that was $300 for a full valve assembly. So let's try this here first, and furthermore, to do the replacement of the full valve assembly, it would be a lot of work, because all the pipes coming up on the backside of the valve assembly, they sit different on the new one, because the old model I have in my RV they don't make anymore. So the one they make instead, I would have to do a lot of modification to the piping. So I would like not to do that. So let's try this here first and see if we can make this work. And to make the assembly a little easier and make the O-ring stick, because this is kind of curved, I just give it a little super glue in the bottom, and that will help hold the O-ring in place. Else I'm afraid they will pop out when we put it together. So let's just glue them in like this. I'll hold it for a few seconds and it should sit tight. See, now it follows the curve of the valve. So we will do the same here with the others. Give it just a few drops here of the super glue on each side here, and it will stick. Replace the others. A little super glue in place here. We have refurbished the whole valve assembly here, and it should be good to be mounted. Now we just need to lubricate it, and we will do that with the Vaseline. So the whole thing here needs to be covered in Vaseline. Simply just give it a good amount. That will help it rotate easier. That was one of the problems. I simply had to use a plier to rotate the valve, and you shouldn't. So with this in here, I hope everything will go smooth. And then let's go out and mount it again. And here we have the one that is a blind and the hole. So that's the orientation we want it in. It needs to sit like this. Okay, see if we can mount the rest. And we put this one back in. Kind of need to be able to see, because it needs to fit into a groove up there. So that's important that this one gets in right. So that it has the right orientation. That's it. Put the spring back on. And then we press this one in here again. Okay, it's locked. Handle needs to get on. Sits there. Okay. And it seems good. I don't hear any running water. If we go down, yep, switches over to a tank fill, and if we go one more, we are on the pump from the tank. So after doing this repair here to the four-way valve on the water inlet, I've been thinking a bit about it. You know, I put new O-rings in, but I was not feeling too comfortable about that this will last. The whole housing and everything on the back side of this panel here, it's all plastic, and even the core where the O-ring sits in is plastic, and I don't feel that this is a good solution, that it's something that will last. So I've decided to go and order a new panel. The one that is sitting in our motorhome has been discontinued. They're no longer producing it. I guess they have simply had too many problems with these O-rings wearing out and coming out, and then it starts leaking over to the freshwater tank. So the new model they have made that replaces the one we have is all metal. It's brass. The whole housing for the valves in the rear, that's brass. And I've decided, even though it's about $300, but there's a 4 weeks waiting list to get one, so I'd rather order that part now so that I can replace it and hopefully not run into this problem again. But at least this repair I did here works So we have water back again now, and I hope that can be a help to others that run into this issue here. So if you like this video, please hit the like and the subscribe buttons, and hopefully you can see more videos that way here from Sixwheelsdown. Thank you for watching.